Today we will be taking a close-up look of the circulatory system. So on the next slide, there are some early ideas about the circulatory system and its main organ, the heart. So today, after about 350 years of investigation, we know that only one of these early ideas is actually accurate. One is partially accurate. It's part of the way there. So the rest have been shown to be incorrect. So do you know, or can you figure out which is which? So when I am looking at this, I have 5 different statements. The first one is the heart is the source of the emotion of happiness. Your happiness comes from the heart. The second one, the heart pumps blood, which is carried once throughout the body in arteries and veins. And after that one time, it is done. The third one, arteries and veins get thinner and thinner in various parts of the body. The fourth, the heart is the source of human intelligence. And the fifth one, blood is made in the liver. It flows into the heart and gets used up, so the liver must constantly make more. So what I would like you to do is when you get to this, you guys are going to click on this Menti, and I have a nice little beating heart for you. And you are going to state which one do you think is partially accurate. Now, I think most of you guys will rule this one out, so it's probably pretty safe to click on that one, and that is what you're going to answer. Then we will go back to this slide and we will continue onwards. So moving things around, your life began as a single cell. 9 months later, you would become about 2 trillion cells is what makes up about a human being. By the time you stop growing, you will be made up of over 100 trillion cells. So a baby has about 2 trillion, an adult 100 trillion. Just like the living things in a food web, each of your cells needs energy, oxygen, and nutrients to carry out its life functions. Your life functions. These cells need help and rely on your body's transportation network, the circulatory system, to bring what they need and remove what they don't. So our circulatory system works very much like a system of freeways. So here is some freeways in a big major city somewhere, and our blood moves around and it can take different exits and go to different places in our body, but it really uses basically highways throughout our body to get to where it needs to be. So our heart is the engine of our circulatory system. So this is an image of a real human heart. This fist-sized organ has a mass of only about 300 grams. So it's actually not that big. If you were to make a fist with your hand, not a super tight one, but just sort of close your fingers together, that is approximately the size of your heart. So everyone's heart is slightly different sized, just like all of our bodies are different sized. The size of your fist is typically the size of your heart. Whatever it lacks in size and mass, it makes up for in function. Your heart must pump or expand and contract an average of 70 times each minute of your entire life. And what we're going to do tomorrow is we're actually going to do a heart rate lab where you guys will get to explore what your heart rate is and how you can change your heart rate or what you can do to affect it. Pumped blood travels away from the heart to the rest of your body through tube-like vessels called arteries. So the arteries are the ones that are going out, away from the heart. Blood travels back to the heart through other tube-like vessels called veins. So when it comes back into your heart, it is called a vein. Your heart must be able to create enough pressure to push blood through your entire body continually. So it has to constantly be pushing blood out. Fortunately, we do not have to give our heart a break. It can do this non-stop, and we don't have to think about it. I don't have to sit in front of the classroom and teach you guys stuff, as well as think pump, 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 to make sure that my heart is pumping that blood. It does it automatically. When new blood enters an artery, the artery stretches and bulges. We call this bulge a pulse. So you guys have probably found your pulse before. So there's two main places that you can find it. You can find it in your wrist, on the thumb side of your inside of your wrist, or lots of people find it a lot easier to find it in their neck, sort of below their ear and their jawline. And so you can actually feel the blood as it is pulsing or bulging through your arteries. So this is a very, very short section because we did, because we're going to do parts of it tomorrow. So the first question, which blood vessels carry blood away from the heart? The second one, which blood vessels carry blood to the heart? And there are no visible structures joining these two kinds of blood vessels in the heart. So they don't actually connect inside the heart. So how do you think the blood gets from one to the other? So there's actually two sides to your heart. So there's this side here and then this side here. So how do you think that it gets from one side to the other? How might having narrower blood vessels affect the efficient functioning of the circulatory system? So if all of your blood vessels were to start to get skinnier and skinnier and thinner, how do you think that would affect your heart or your circulatory system? Number 3 says that the heart is actually a double pump. So one part pumps the blood to the lungs. So it goes up into the lungs where it gets more oxygen, while the other part pumps the blood to the rest of the body. One of these parts is larger and stronger than the other. So which one do you think it would be and why? Do you think the part that pumps the blood to the lungs is larger and stronger, or the part that pumps the blood to all of your body? And you guys might want to go back through the slides here and take a look at, I had a picture of a pair of human lungs and its relation to the heart, and think about that as you're deciding on your answer. Question number 4, assume that your heart beats an average of 70 times per minute. How many times will your heart beat from the day you were born until the day you celebrate your next birthday? So basically this is asking, if you are currently 11, how many times will your heart beat between your birth and your 12th birthday? If you are 12 until your 13th birthday, and if you're 14 already, to your 14th birthday. So it's a kind of a math question where you're going to have to do a little bit of figuring there. So that one is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. I highly recommend that you have a calculator handy for that, because doing it without a calculator is going to be not a whole lot of fun. So that is your science lesson for today. It is short and sweet. And then tomorrow we are going to be doing a heart rate lab. So if you have a stopwatch or a clock on a phone or even on Google, that is going to be super helpful for our activity tomorrow. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing the results from your activity tomorrow.